Hello, 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 welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, we are back as usual on like an actual stream there, and I kept it like a first in a long time. Well, during the week, that is. Yeah. So I want to continue. Hopefully, we can finish the under redo system this week. Not too sure if we can because it's a lot of stuff. Like we have to add it in a lot of places. But we have a good base, but today I want to change it quite a bit to make it a little more yeah, a little bit more, how do you say, clean, I guess, or like properly in like an architectural sense. So that would be the plan today. I have a couple of ideas. We might be going back and forth today a little bit on the implementation, but let's see. So what I already have currently working, if it starts, I think, or it should start. I don't think I changed anything. I already kind of have an underdo for the components now, but I'm not too happy with how it's implemented, so I will change it quite a lot, to be honest. Because currently it's a little unsafe in terms of the, like, in terms of the memory, because I'm basically doing a mem copy, which is not really nice. Although I guess with the approach I want to take, it would... Well, no, it still doesn't work because we cannot mem copy an STD string. That doesn't work. And STD strings are allowed in components. I don't want to restrict that. But yeah, we have here this, and you can create this entity, right? And then you can name it test. We can undo and redo that. And we can as well already add a component here, set it to 0.2, set it to 10, set that to 1, and then we can undo all of those again and redo those again. So that works, but I am not too happy with how it's implemented, so we will basically iterate on that a little bit. So first things first, I think what I want to do is change the command to be not a command system, but instead, but actually we might, I might actually add that as a, hey, Yanio, welcome, welcome. Welcome back. It's kind of chopping. Well, it could be again while it's compiling. Maybe is it better now? I'm not sure. Otherwise, I would have to take a look at the microphone again. I mean, that looks fine, but yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe it was because it was compiling. It sometimes does that. But yeah, not sure. I hope it's fine now, but maybe not. Let me know. All right. Or it's just me that's chopping. Hey, Thornik. Yeah, it is. It is. That topic can be quite deep, I guess, or I'm not sure how to say it, but yeah, can be a rabbit hole, I guess. So the thing is, the component factory lives here. I'm just thinking where to move the classes I want to move. But I think it's fine if it lives in editor, to be honest. Yeah, it's quite usual that we do multi-thread, like games are heavily multi-threaded nowadays. And yeah, there are some lock-free / wait-free things as well involved from time to time. But to be honest, those in most of the engines that I use were already built, so I didn't really have to touch them. I mean, I added atomics here and there to have something lock-free. But most of the time, it's already pre-established by whatever engine you are using. That's weird. I'm not sure what my microphone is. I mean, I can try to plug it in and out again, I guess. I don't know. Because the compile should be done. And my CPU and everything looks fine as well. Let me quickly check here. That looks fine as well, I guess. Ah, now it works. How did that reset? Okay. Hopefully that works better. Well, I plugged in everything and yeah, that was it about it. I don't know. Hey, Marmalade. No, I don't know. It's not necessarily, I would say, Linux. Something is with my microphone. Well, I did something, somewhen, I don't know when, to be honest, and then it kind of bricked it, like the external thing that I have that auto adjusts the sensitivity of the microphone, I guess. And since then, something is just weird. I don't know why. I have to look into that. All right. Maybe I leave the command as is, but then I do a command Q here. No, don't be like that. I'm this close actually to installing the Vim plugin here as well, because at work I'm using the Vim plugin and the muscle memory is kind of kicking in. So the thing, well, I leave it for now. We don't do everything at once, so I will not do everything at once, but basically the command queue is like that. think it should be something like that, and then this is a command thing. And I think that stays the same. Actually, the popping wouldn't work here, but let's deal with one thing at a time, I guess. And because what I want to do is have one command queue per context. I think that could be quite nice. So basically that goes away. Which we painfully added before, but that's fine. And then we go to, not that, muscle memory again. Scene editor, and we add a command queue here. Not quite sure where I would want to add it, but let's add it at that top. Why not? That would be an include Onyx editor well, it's in systems, but we will move it command system. And then we push in the m command queue here. And we push in the command queue in here. Watching your streams, I decided to revive my old game engine. That's cool. But yeah, I can relate to that. Every time I look at code that's like very old from myself, I'm as well. I mean, not extreme anymore like it used to be, but I definitely had the same thing where it kind of felt weird to go back and look at old code. I think it got a little bit more stable the longer I work, but still I find it from time to time. But now, as I'm already, say, quite senior, it doesn't happen too often anymore, but it still does. Especially here in this project, because I did stuff without me actually really knowing how I would want it to work or interact with each other, and then sometimes I stumble upon it and I'm like, what did I think back then doing it like that? Yeah, of course. Quite often. That happens. It's very unrealistic that you don't do that. You will add bugs. I mean, AAA projects are huge, so it's inevitable. You cannot test everything. But I mean, that's why you have QA, QC, like big projects. They will find your stuff that's broken and then you fix it. The thing is at Ubi, like at Rainbow Six, when I worked on Rainbow Six, it was really nice because there I basically rarely introduced bugs because we had like a very strict policy and everything had to be thoroughly tested by QA before we were allowed to submit it. And with that, you caught like, I'd say 90-95% of the issues before it ever reached anyone else, which is kind of really nice. But yeah, and that was actually the only project where we did that. Even inside of Ubisoft, it was not so common to do that. It's a matter of like, it costs a lot of time, right, doing that. And the ratio between QA and programmers has to be like a healthy ratio, right? Because in like some bigger project, the ratio is not healthy, and you have like, let's say 30 programmers to 3 QA, and that doesn't scale. Yeah, the Switch, I heard. I never actually had to do something with the Switch yet. I kinda dodged that. Well, rarely, Zornic. I mean, yes, it happens, but most of those, 1 in a million, they are that, yeah, as you said, they are that rare that we're not really ignoring them. It's just like, you cannot repro them, so unless you explicitly know what the problem is, then it's like an easy fix, right? But those are very rare. Like those 1 in a million bugs, they are so hard to find. Like, otherwise you would have solid repro steps, right? So it's not a matter of ignoring it, it's just a matter of you don't know where to really look for, and you don't know how to repro it. So yeah, that happens as well from time to time. Yeah, that happens as well. And one misconception as well is that like when a game launches like super buggy, people always like blame the QA department of the company. But most of the time, everything that players encounter, like if it's egregiously buggy, then it's most of the time anyways reported internally as well, and someone else made the decision, fuck it, we are launching anyways, which is outside of the QA department. So I really hate that misconception that like people then on Reddit or whatever always say like, oh, what is the QA doing? It's just, I mean, they probably reported it. It's just that someone in power decided we don't care. Because we have to ship now. It's like, I think it rarely happened that we got a bug that like from the community that wasn't already internally reported. It happened like a handful of times, I'd say. Alright, so I renamed all of that. I think it should still kinda work-ish. Or if it would launch, of course. Not sure where I... Ah, here. Command Q. Push and that. Is that correct? I hope it is. What? Ah, wait, what? Did I not? Did I not just fix that? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Makes sense. Maybe I still have a command system? I have to think about that. Maybe I still do a command system, but the command queue is internally and you push an active queue onto the system. I really hate that the output doesn't clear. What is DP stuff? I don't know that abbreviation, so maybe they didn't ask me that. No, I don't think so. I mean, let me think. The first Ubisoft interview for Barcelona was quite weak, I would say, technically, in terms of like the technical questions they asked. It was quite weak, so it was easy to pass. I mean, they had a programming test where you needed to code a game, like a simple 2D game, and then they analyzed that. What the hell? Wait. Oh, I named it wrong. So it was, yeah, was that. And then they asked me a little bit questions about the test that I gave, or that I provided. And then for Massive, it was a little bit more elaborate. I mean, a little bit more. The questions were a little harder because it was an engine position. And there was a test involved as well, where I had to do some multi-threaded stuff. So that one was a little bit more extensive. But no, I wouldn't say they asked me that. No, it was more like common C++ things. Although in the Massive one, no, I still think they didn't really ask those kind of questions. So we cannot redo or undo now, but I'm just curious if it crashes. No, it doesn't. Okay, so we're still doing the action. That's good. Maybe. Yeah, I agree. But on the other hand, I have to say, I mean, it's not really a but the thing is that the coding tests, they always take quite a lot of time, which is kind of annoying. But yeah, it's definitely better than some weird C++ trivia questions that you need once every 10 years, it feels like. So I guess there's a little bit. I mean, I did some interviews myself with candidates at Ubisoft Barcelona, and I just asked a couple of like really simple C++ questions just to gauge a little bit where they are in terms of their understanding of C++. Exactly, that is why. And I mean, like the worst example, I think I talked about that on stream already once. I had a company that asked me what std move does, and I basically said that it moves the memory instead of copies the memory, so it's faster and it's good for like bigger structures and stuff like that. If you can avoid the copy, you should, and stuff like that. That was basically my answer, like a little bit longer and a bit more explained, but that was the core of it. And then they said like, no, that's not really it. std move is just cast. So STD move is the same as if you would cast to an R value reference. That's all that STD move does, and that's what he wanted to know. And I'm like, really? Is that important that I know that STD move is just an R value reference cast? That doesn't help me at all in my day-to-day. If I still don't understand what that does, it doesn't do anything. So that was a kind of shit question, to be honest. Because this has zero practical use, in my opinion. If you still don't understand what STD move does, it doesn't help you that you know that it casts an R value reference. Or like what the benefits of a move is and stuff like that. That's way more important than, yeah, in my opinion. I don't know. Alright, I'm losing track a little bit, but it's fine. I love talking about that stuff, but yeah, I think I still bring back the command system. So I will copy the command queue, but then I will bring back the command system, because I think I want this general system that can be used to do the undo redo, right? Because otherwise every window would need to implement it themselves. Exactly, that's what I was as well thinking, and like that's why I didn't fail the interview because of that or anything, but at that point I was like, okay, maybe I don't really want to work for that company if they are like that picky and that weird. It's like a gotcha question kind of thing, and it's like, really, are we doing that? So I think the command system I want to keep, and then I think I want to have here command queue. Well, actually command stack is probably the better way to call it. Because it's a stack. Or can I somehow... Actually, I could make it all with just that one. Maybe I do that actually. Now that I think about it, maybe we do it. Maybe I do that. So I will again kill that. Well, I will still have that here.
Question is, how would I differentiate? Well, I guess what I could do is void or enable. Let's do that. Enable, disable. Maybe. Huh? Why can I not change class here, please? Okay, so basically command stack enable. And it's basically that. And then command stack disable. It could be, I could do it slightly different, but I think that's fine, to be honest. But maybe I will rethink that. Then I guess it's this. So that would be that. The app config, did I clear that again? Now I did. And then we need to command system. No, entities panel, that's what it. Where's the command queue? No, we have the entity or the components panel as well. I need to do the same thing here. That's all not really what I wanted to do yet, but it's a little bit of preparation, I guess. And then scene editor. And then on open, we enabled the input with the input action system. And on close, we disable it. That would be the idea. I might change this part a little. Potentially. In the future. Let's see. Not sure if he ever said that, but okay. It's a lot of missed quotes, or like missing, like not real quotes, but maybe he said that. It's definitely a valid thing, even if he didn't say it. What? Debug. Where's my? Ah, here. Which system do you not? Okay, I think I might have done an oopsie in the app config. Of course I did. Okay. I mean, technically it should work still, the undo redo system now. Okay, yeah, it works. Alright. So that was step number 1, and now we come to the actual thing that I wanted to do today. Which is we go to probably scene editor. And we create an entity registry. Actually, we do it yeah, I will do it a little bit more elaborate than that. Question is, where do I put that? I guess I could create a new folder here, scene. Maybe. And then entity command stack.h. Or do we call it maybe scene command? The question is, do I need that? Oh, sorry, that cut off in my chat overlay. I need to switch tab to read that. Okay, yeah, that makes that sounds more what, or like that sounds a little bit more elaborate. So probably what he said. I'm just thinking, how would I want to do that? Maybe I just store it here and we don't really. For now, I will store it here, but I'm not sure if that will stay. Command history. True. Should this be somehow Combined slash encapsulated. So what I want to do is on load of the scene editor. So that's a little bit more elaborate, but I think it's nice in the long term. At least, maybe. No, I think I think it should be. I think I could do it after the fact of this. Let's for now do it after this. Base a registry. Well, actually, well, registry, I think, right? A registry, copy to base registry. And we basically add that function. Which is a void copy entity registry other or two. And yeah, then we implement that. And the first thing I would want to evaluate probably is that the registry is empty. Expect like a registry to copy to has to be empty. I think that's at least a solid base idea, I would say. Does it have a... How can I check if it's empty or not? Is there no empty check? I think there should be, right? Entities. I guess I could do a storage. And then if that is... I mean, for now, let's leave that. I will figure that out. It's mostly because the notice card is just ugly. That's mostly it. I don't really like that syntax. Not that the macro is preferred, but it's a little bit better. STD ignore, yes, but I don't think you can put that... Well, it's only the return type that you can do, right? You can do an STD ignore equals my foo, right? But you cannot have it here, I think. You cannot say std ignore here. Std ignore is just so that you ignore anything that is marked as no discard. As far as I know. But I might be wrong on that. So we iterate over the storages. And we don't care about that. I guess we iterate then over the storage inside that, right? Const auto ref component in component storage it second, probably. No. Is that not it? Oh, maybe that. Yeah. And then with that, I can say component. Or what is that? Ah, that's the entity. I guess with that I can go if to registry is valid, the component, well, the entity. So I guess that's an entity ID then, right? Yeah. So I can do that. Don't need to do a ref here. If this is valid, has entity basically, then, well, if that is false, we need to create the entity. We need a couple of helper functions then here. Well, I guess we could do if the requested entity isn't then used. Okay. Entity ID, new entity ID. And if that is not the same, we assert. I mean, we could. Yeah, let's actually make that private. Because you should never have to query that, I think. And then var entity ID create the ID. Why is that not a thing? Okay. Oh. Identity, that's why. Okay, cool. And once we have that, we then can do to registry add component to the entity ID with, well, actually it's this, right? So we have component storage. Component storage it second push. Basically that. Which would be, well, okay, yeah, that's not the same thing, sorry. We then need to do, that's what we need to do. We need to registry, m registry, store, get storage. It's this. That creates one, right? A null pointer otherwise. So I cannot do that or what? I cannot add a storage. Based on just the ID. So that's a private function or what? I guess I cannot call that then. Meh. Really? I would want to do that, but I guess it's not that easy. I thought I had that already somewhere. Where the ref here doesn't really do a whole lot, to be honest. It just could be that. I think I copied that auto ref from it's basically just perfect forwarding, what that really is. It's not an R value reference, this is just perfect forwarding. So whatever this function returns, basically we take here as the auto. But yeah. It's usually quite common if you break it up into like two pieces. Because it's the first and the second, right? So I think it is the component ID and then the storage basically would be the thing, right? Then you have the auto ref here. But as I'm not doing that, it doesn't really add a whole lot, to be honest. It could be a ref. And I think I changed it at one point, just the iterator here. But I can't remember anymore. A rebind. What does rebind do? Yeah, I'm wondering if there is a way to do what I want, which is adding components on the fly without a templated function. Because that just is the type, which doesn't help me. That creates an entity. That's an entity as well. Destroy doesn't do anything. I'm wondering, is there really no way? That's unfortunate. Checks if an entity has components assigned. Okay. Sort. That's just the context. But then how does the snapshot work? Because that has to restore stuff, right? Basic snapshot loader. That is how you assert that it's empty. Okay, good to know. And then he gets... Oh, that sucks. That is really ugly. Works with the template here. I think for perfect forwarding it doesn't matter, it can be const, but maybe not, I'm not sure. Wow, that's ugly. So I guess I have to use the entity registry for this. Which I'm not sure, do I have that there? Well, not the entity registry, but... I don't think I have that there. That's really shit. I think I've heard of it. But let me quickly look it up again. I'm not sure anymore. Yeah, I think I've heard of it before. I couldn't have explained it, to be honest, but the thing, it rang a bell, but I wouldn't have been able to tell you what it is. Okay, that is a pain in the ass from Int, not gonna lie. I have to think for that. I have to think for a moment about that. Okay, so then this is the runtime type ID. Is that my stuff? I really would want to have an accessor to the pool. Or something like that. Because everything else here kinda sucks. Okay, those I don't know. Never heard of those. Do I really need to make an extension to end just so that I can access that? Is that maybe fixed in a newer version of End? I don't understand why you wouldn't have that I can create a tool without a template argument. That's a really crap, to be honest. But maybe he just didn't add that. So copy constructor still deleted, which is fine. I don't mind that. Oh, that looks a little bit cleaner actually. But yeah, whatever. I think that's new as well. That looks nicer as well. There's a couple of things that look a little nicer. Could I? Oh no, that's just word templated, which all kind of sucks. I want a non-templated version of this. Is it that hard to provide? I guess he didn't add that. Sad. I think I have to make it myself as an extension. But basically what I would want to have is... Where is the storage stuff? I mean, basically that function, but with the reference, which is the same as, well, it could be an iterable, or it's down here, okay. So let's take that down there. So it's basically that. But instead of... Why do I need that? Oh wait, is it because it has to have the size? Where is it? Yeah, I think it's because it has to have the size. Okay, that makes a lot more sense now. That makes a lot more sense, but it makes it kinda... Nah. Okay. So I guess I have to use the component method then for that. But I think, well, actually it is available. I could get the component factory here, right? And I think that can be const. And I think that's class component factory. Probably. Yeah. Okay. Game core system. Get. Oh wait, it's get engine system? Get component factory basically. It's a little bit ugly, but it's fine. We will deal with that. And then here I can include that. Oh, it's not that one. Okay, yeah. Not quite sure. Ah. Nice. And then, with that, I can say component factory try create component. Or try copy component, I guess. What are those? I mean, some of them I know, but yeah, it's not really that helpful most of the time. To registry with the entity ID, component type ID. Ah, okay, that would be. And then ROM component. Oh, that would be the component storage it value of entity ID. I think. Well, sorry. Second. And then value. Yeah, monads and monads, I know. I think that could work. Copy. That is an add. I think. I might add it without the factory though. Maybe the copy should be without factory, but I'm not sure. I guess I would need to find that out the hard way. And I guess component factory get component meta. We don't need to do that all the time. Is that not it? Ah, it's a value. If it's empty, we cannot copy it. Maybe I actually want to mark this as an error, but I'm not sure yet. But I think I would. And then still component meta then. Copy. What? Yeah, it should be that, right? Or that is to registry. That is void from component. And that copies over the whole storage, hopefully. Let's see, I will put a breakpoint here. And then let's see what happens. Okay. I mean, that's technically not an issue. We only hit that once? That's interesting. I wonder which component that was. If there is an easy way to find out. Because I don't really know which component that would be. Wait. Can I somehow find that out? Second. Transient component, I see. Where do I add that? Oh, I think I know where I add that, in the scene editor, right? Yeah. Maybe. Or for now, I don't care too much, to be honest. Well, I might still want to register it. Component factory. Register, is it a static or not? Don't really know. Don't think it is, right? I don't think it's static. Yeah. So for now, let's do this. Game core system. Oh, well. Get component factory. Wait. Ah, okay, I need the ECS builder. Fascinating. Yeah, that's a little bit ugly, but it's fine, I guess. Because now I don't think we will hit it. Now we will be fine, while this can be actually... That could be then the component factory, but whatever. Yeah, and we're not hitting it anymore. Okay. So part 1, I think is done. I'm copying over the the base registry. And then let's do the entities panel first. So what I do is, where is the rename? Because I think that one gets quite a lot simpler, because I don't do that anymore. The undo is basically a no op, and it will be removed. And then the execute is just that. Yeah. Oh wait, okay. Yeah, kinda. I need to do a little bit more though. That will be okay. Some more stuff. How would I handle that now? Just to test it. I want to make it then clean afterwards, but first I need to test it. I could... I guess I could handle the undo redo on the scene editor level for now. Which would make that as slightly bit easier for now. Or actually, I guess we could move that out. Move that away. Again, I will make that proper. But for now, we do it like that. Then we go to scene editor H. Again, I will encapsulate that quite a bit away. But for now, I just want to test it. On undo. Not even sure if that fires, to be honest. If it's not true. But yeah, whatever. An M command stack on undo. And then M command stack on redo. And on undo. Oh yeah, we need to make that public for now. So that works. Well, I don't think actually I want to use those functions. Let me think again. So basically what I wanted to do is base registry copy to or scene or get registry, right? Not sure if it's the smartest thing to do it like that. Probably not. Well, on the undo, I don't... Yeah, actually, yeah, no, I do it like that. And on redo, I don't. Yeah, I think I do that. And then on undo, what I do is I decrement that. And then I basically run for each const unique pointer command in M commands. Well, not really, actually. Sorry, it's probably better to do a normal loop. The benefit of that is that you don't need an undo function, right? That was the main idea behind that, because the undo is just rerunning all the actions basically. Let's see if that works. That might be not very good, but let's see. Or like not working. If it does, then that's like half the way that I wanted to have it already. What is the problem? Makes sense. I mean, maybe the command stack actually is handled. Yeah, no, I'm not sure. Bit problematic, to be honest. Okay, and then I call that test. And then that didn't... Oh, well, I didn't register the function. That's okay that it doesn't work, I guess. Scene editor, CPP. Wait, where is the registry? Oh, here. Okay. I mean, I guess that makes kind of sense. Well. -1. Well. Terminate. I guess I need to guard it 2 times or what? Or actually that should be an assert then. We should not be allowed to undo if... Well, actually, probably... Yeah, whatever. Huh? What? Oh wait, I need to clear the registry, right? Otherwise that doesn't work. Breakpoint. Oh, okay, yeah, I mean, that kind of makes sense. Well, it's not invalid actually, never mind. I think we just return here, it doesn't really matter. Because if you press Ctrl Z and the command stack, no, let's do it like that. Test. Well, I guess that didn't work. For whatever reason. Just kind of unfortunate. So is that happening? Okay, we do copy a couple of components, okay. Cool. Then I create that. But actually, what do we copy there? Oh, wait. Yeah, of course. I need to do one more thing, which is entities panel. And where is the create? Delete entity? No. I want to have the, yeah, this one. Command stack push. Do we still have the generic command? Ah, it's just command, okay. I guess I would need to do for now I will keep it, but I think I want to not do that. Is that not a command? String ID. Oops. No? Okay. That could work. Maybe. Because now we should be able to create this. Now we rename that. Unfortunate. I guess we verify that it kinda works. So I create this. I do a test. And then I undo. And then on undo, we still oh wait, okay. We have to run up until the current command index. Or we could do a +1 of course, or not. Lower equals is fine as well, I guess. So we create this, we do it like that, and that should now call it new entity again, hopefully. Yes. And then the redo will crash, of course. Because on redo, I call one. Should be fine, right? Unless it's not. Unless it's not the same ID. Can I somehow verify what the new ID would be? guess I could somehow. If we create an entity that is already existing. Oh, okay, yeah. Yes, I guess what we should do. I guess I don't really care about the internal ID, to be honest. Although it would be kinda nice, not gonna lie, if that is deterministic. So I guess, yes, I have an idea. Create entity. And basically it's just that with, I mean, technically the scene and the scene registry, right? But for now, let's just do the scene registry. Well, guess we could do the scene like that. Or actually we can do the scene ID. It doesn't really matter. We can do the scene, the entity ID. Yeah, basically those three. I mean, that should be probably an invalid ID. Now we basically do that. And if m entity equals entity ID or invalid? Is it invalid? I forgot what it all was. No, it's not that. Entity ID type. No, not that one, sorry. It's the entity ID type. Where is it? Invalid. No. Or like empty? I'm not sure. It was something like that. I thought it was something like that. Find all references. I mean, I guess it's empty just like that, right? But I thought there was an empty one. Maybe we find it here in the wiki. I was pretty sure that exists. Null entity. And null. That's what I was. So I guess it's that, right? So I would basically, wherever my thing is again. Yeah, here. Okay. If it is null, then we say entity is a registry create entity. Otherwise, we have to do entity okay. Then we basically have to make that public. I would probably want to assert that internally. And then we add the rest, right? That actually makes it kinda nice. Because basically, if it is the first run, we set that. Create entity command. Oh well, and then that is MC or like scene, and or actually scene ID, right? And the game core system. Oh, and then yeah, I command create entity. Or that one is maybe set selected entity. What do we do? I think it's just add component of that, right? Yeah. Which for now, let's leave it out. I don't care. To get new entity name. It's just new entity name for now. Let's keep it simple. Ah. Yes, yes, it will fail. It didn't fail because I saved it fast enough, or what? Crazy. Oh no, that's not what I wanted. I mean, it would have worked probably as well, but... Test. Okay. Hmm. I guess the selection doesn't work. But in theory, that already works quite nice. I don't know what happened with the history though. Probably because the stack is garbage, right? Or actually the the redo would be interesting as well, so let's try that. Let's remove that for now. So I create an entity, I call this test. I undo and I redo, and that works, but the selection doesn't work. Which kinda makes sense. I'm wondering how to restore that though. Storage. Or no, entities panel, right? Jesus. So the thing is, when we render, selected entity is not null. Oh, that's a different thing. I mean, if that is the case, then we definitely need to ensure that that one is the set selected entity. I think that would work, but that's probably not the nicest thing to do. We should most likely do that on a redo only. So that is test. And then this is not the case, or what? Oh, I see. Hmm. Yeah, that's a bit of a problem, I guess. I guess I could do that. That would work, but that would basically re-edit every frame, which probably is a not so nice thing to do. Huh? Oh, no, wait, what? Why would that be the case? That doesn't make too much sense. Entities panel. Oh, well, and then if and null probably. Maybe. No, that is actually kind of weird. What? Where exactly? Scene editor window. But why would that be the case? Because shouldn't... Okay, I want to know where that triggers. So selected entity, add watch, incomplete type, cool. Cool. That works great. Is it better if it's here? Is that then a thing? No, it's still an incomplete type, cool. Not quite sure why that's the case, but okay. So I guess I have to do it somehow differently. I mean, probably what would work is if we if here I give myself as a reference and then I can get the selected ID. That would work. Or the best, maybe that's actually the best, if registry has components That would work, right? And then this. I mean, it's not nice, I guess, but yeah, it basically. What was the last programming book I read? The last one. Well, I will show it in. I will not. So the last one was this one, Mastering Graphics Programming with Vulkan. Can recommend. It's quite good. I will show it on Amazon. It's fine. So this one, quite good. It covers a good extent of topics. Oh yeah, you have here the thing. So a little bit of multi-threading, like command buffer queuing on multiple threads, async compute, mesh shaders and stuff like that. A little bit of ray tracing, yeah. I didn't finish it, but I read it like up to here, I think, and then I was like, I will read the other ones later once I need them. But yeah, that one, and then I have another one from the same publisher, which I didn't start yet, but I want to read as well. And it's a little bit more basic. Well, it starts a little bit more basic, I guess, but it's not necessarily. It still covers quite some advanced topics as well. Which is yeah, this one, the Modern Vulkan Cookbook. That one I didn't really even. Well, that one I think I only read up until here so far. And then again, the others I will read once I need them. But I think it has quite some awesome stuff, like the order independent transparency sounds very interesting. Lighting, shading, shadows, always interesting as well. Not sure anymore what it's doing here. Oh yeah, some DLSS and stuff like that as well. Quite nice, but there's a little bit of overlap between the two books. But yeah, yeah, those were the two ones I recently read. How about you? Any recommendations? Why would that fail again? Why would... Hold on. Is this triggering? Oh my god, I'm stupid. That should be that. Okay, perfect. And now I do this. And it worked. Then I can undo, create a new entity, my entity. That covers now a new entity. Then we deselect, which makes sense. And I can still restore all of that and keep my focus. Beautiful. I think that's very nice. So that would be the idea. We only move forward in the history. If we go back, we roll back the whole history and move forward. It's similar to what Git does, basically. I mean, to some extent. We only store a forward graph in the history. So what we... Oh god, why is it... Where is the field? I'm using this for the first time. Ah, here. Never mind. Dark mode. Oh, yes. So yeah, we only do a forward history. And then if we go back... Oops. Oh, that's a bit garbage. Okay, that's... well, I didn't use that yet. Okay. Interesting. But you get the point. It's, as I said, similar to Git. So if we go back in history, we go back here. And then we replay the actions up until to the point where we want it to be. And we could store intermediate snapshots on the way if it ever gets too slow. The restore. But the restore should be fairly quick because there should not be any resources or anything. So basically what I would want to do now is as well, that is basically gone. We don't have an undo anymore. We just have an execute. I guess we could call it now invoke var. Yeah, whatever. And then this is just an fn. Don't have that. Just have that. Don't have that. Fn, fn, fn. Yeah. So that would be the basic idea. And then I have another thing to make that 100% working. But I think we will do that next time. Because currently that kind of fails. As soon as I do something like that, or it could fail. Let's put it that way, it could fail. As soon as I do something more advanced. Actually in the components panel I think we have those components that have an undo, which we shouldn't use anymore. Is it not execute? No, it is execute. Because that makes this as well simpler. But anyways, we're not doing that yet. Did I have another function that, like... Did I add it somewhere where I still need to adjust it? Oh, okay. What is that? Oh, the create entity, of course. We don't need the previous name, then everything is so much simpler with that. And I can even do that and it's gone already. That's nice. So we already have more features than before just by doing that, because, yeah. I'm not sure if I can already do that. No, probably not, I guess. Not quite sure why though. Oh, because my component meta is empty. Well, future me. Oh, well, maybe I should test it with a simpler component. I think I didn't add the actual thing there. The correct handling of the... Okay, I can't. Oh, the add component is not there, that's why. But why did it remove it? Oh, because it didn't replay the ad. Yeah, okay, makes sense. Oh, makes perfect sense. We need to have the add component, of course, as well, as an action. But I think that's kind of simple now. It's this, right? That is basically command stack push command. Or we could probably make a helper for that, but just create component or add component. And lambda function. With that. Enter the ID. Yeah, I think I should make that a nicer helper thing. I think it's this. And then here command stack. Here command stack. Yeah, I think I will make a couple of adjustments to this panel because it's quite ugly how it's handling all the well, the call hierarchy is a little bit ugly. I think that should, well, okay, well, if I make a colon here, then it should work. I think with that we should be back in business. So basically I can do this, I can rename this, I can add a camera component, and then I can change that to 2, undo that, redo that. Perfect. So I can basically go all the way back. That was something I was afraid of. Did I not change that? Oh no, I didn't. I think it's safer to just ignore it in this case. Let's actually do... That is actually an S32, never mind. And we can do that. Okay, now Control Z does absolutely nothing. Now I can do this. Create my component, add it, change this to 10, change this to 1, can undo all of that, and I can redo that. Nice. So all of that works, which is kind of nice. And yeah, so I will call it a day for today. Next steps would be, well, first of all, cleaning it up a little bit, adding it to all the commands we can have in the editor. But we that already today was covering quite a lot of things you can do. Well, we need to add it to the node graph and stuff like that as well, of course, but yeah. And then let me think. Yeah, I wanted to do a thing similar to what Photoshop has. At least I know it from Photoshop. Probably GIMP has it as well. Action history. I want to add a window like that. Yeah, this one, basically. And then you can click, and I want to go back to this state and it undo. That's why I did this stack approach with like only going forward. Because then you can click here and we just go to the last save spot before the one you clicked and replay all the actions. And that would be quite handy, and I don't see that in any other engine, to be honest. I think that would be quite cool to have. To have like this undo stack. Maybe I add then a thing that you can make snapshots manually. Say like, okay, please make this, like pin this. Although I'm not sure if there is a big benefit to that, but yeah, maybe. But yeah, that would be the goal for tomorrow, adding this window. Hey, you're coming right on time for me ending the stream. But hello there. But yeah, we did some good progress. We will be back tomorrow. We have basically an editor history. All good. So you can add a component. You can add a component here. Change this. Change this. Change this. And then you can undo all of that. And you can redo all of that again. And you can do whatever you want here. The only thing that's not working currently is if I undo, so I have undone everything now, or redone everything. If I redo, well, if I undo the last step and then do a new step, that will push at the end of the history instead of overriding the, last step. But as I have a forward moving history now only. Oh yeah, so very sour because you missed that. I rewrote the whole redo system because before I had a redo and undo function for each command. Now it's only moving forward, similar to Git. And if you go back, I go back to the root and then reapply all the actions basically. Again. So you could think of it like probably a rebasing it. Is it that? Or reset to commit, and then you replay everything from there. And with that, what I plan to do is this, basically, that you have a history in your as a panel, and then you can say, oh, well, I want to undo the last 30 steps, scroll down, click there, and it just replays everything from the scratch to that step. That's the big plan. We will do this window tomorrow. And I thought now that I have this approach, it opens up a whole new approach, which is, let me Xcali draw. Let's go back there. I'm really bad at that still because I never really used that. So let's wipe everything. How can I do? Okay. So what I thought is, with that, what this allows me to do is, if we have here our history, well, I did that beautifully in a line almost. If that is our history, and then I undo this, basically I'm going back here, and then I create a new history entry from there. I can keep that because I don't need to delete that, and similar to Git, if I then move forward here and then I notice, ah, shit, I like that approach more, then I can still go back again, replay that, and undo this action, or undo that, be back here, and then just cut this connection, and we are back at that point basically. And I would still keep those around again if you want to go back, but yeah, we would need to display that in a nice window. But I would think of them as, if no, that's not what I wanted. Photoshop action history. So if here, I think how I would look at it is that I will nest things then somehow, like in a some sort of like subfolder or something like that. Not sure how to display the graph yet, but basically we could do a graph, which would probably be quite powerful as well. And again, I don't see any other engine already doing just this one, which I think would be already good to have. Just the history itself and being able to jump directly without pressing 10 times Control Z. So I think that's a cool feature about Photoshop. Let's add that. That's how I imagined it to work. Alright, enough yapping. I will be back tomorrow. Same time as every day, 7:30. What movie were you watching, if you don't mind sharing? I'm always looking for new stuff to watch. If you don't want to share it, that's fine. The Menu. Never heard of that. Oh, shit. Okay. Interesting. No, maybe. Shit ton of shorts propaganda. Yeah, I try to avoid shorts as much as possible. I don't know. All right. Thank you very much. Yeah. We will be back tomorrow. Have a nice rest of your evening. Have a nice start into the day tomorrow, and hopefully we see each other in the evening. Bye bye. Take care. Let's actually wait 1 second. We don't have that many viewers, so it's not worth it rating someone. Thank you. Have a nice evening. Bye bye.